The mysterious transmission, hook and suspense. The stellar Voyager floated silently in the endless void of space, its sleek metallic frame reflecting the distant light of a dying star. Captain Liam Parker stood in the ship's dimly lit control room, his sharp eyes scanning the holographic display of a nearby desolate planet. Space had always been his home, but tonight, a strange unease settled over him. Captain, called Mira, the ship's communications officer, breaking the silence. We're picking up a signal. It's faint, but definitely not natural. Liam turned toward her station, his brow furrowing. What kind of signal? Mira hesitated. I don't know. It's not in any known format, but it's definitely deliberate, like someone's trying to send a message. The rest of the crew in the control room turned their attention to Mira's console. The air was thick with tension as the faint static of the signal echoed through the speakers. Then it happened. A sudden, distorted voice crackled through. So, you see me. Everyone froze. The voice was feminine, eerie, and distant, as though it were speaking from across time itself. Boost the signal, Liam ordered, stepping closer. His voice carried authority, but there was an edge of curiosity that even he couldn't hide. Mira's fingers flew over the console. I'll try, but whatever's sending this is far beyond our normal range. It's coming through the nebula itself. The static grew louder, and suddenly, the display screens flickered. For a brief moment, an image appeared, a figure. It was a woman, but her features weren't entirely human. Her skin shimmered with a faint silver hue, her eyes glowed a soft blue, and delicate patterns, almost like circuitry, traced across her face. Do you see me now? The voice asked, clearer this time, but still distorted. Liam's chest tightened. He couldn't look away from the screen. There was something about her, something familiar and haunting. Who are you? He whispered, more to himself than to anyone else. The figure on the screen tilted her head, her glowing eyes seeming to peer straight through him. You've seen me before, she said, and then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the image vanished. The room erupted into murmurs. What was that? Demanded Zane, the ship's head of security, his hand resting instinctively on the blaster strapped to his hip. That's no ordinary transmission. It's a trap, Captain. Mira shook her head, still staring at her console. It didn't feel like a trap. The signal, it was too fragmented, too desperate. Desperate or not, we don't know what's out there, Zane argued. Could be pirates, or worse. Quiet, Liam commanded, his voice cutting through the noise. The room fell silent as he paced to the main console. Mira, can you track the origin of the signal? She hesitated. It's complicated. The nebula is interfering with the readings, but I've managed to triangulate a general location. A holographic map lit up the center of the room, showing a glowing point deep within the uncharted sector of the nebula. It's here. But Captain, this area is completely off the charts. We have no data on what's there. Liam stared at the glowing point on the map. His instincts screamed at him to investigate, yet logic warned him of the risks. The uncharted sectors were notorious for swallowing ships whole. Strange anomalies, rogue gravity wells, and dangerous remnants of ancient civilizations were only a few of the dangers they might face. But then there was the voice. That image. He couldn't shake the feeling that he had seen her before, even though he knew it was impossible. Could she be a warning? The survivor? Or something worse? Captain, Zane interrupted, his voice low. You're not seriously thinking about going there, are you? I am, Liam said firmly, his decision made. Whatever sent that signal, it reached us for a reason. If someone, or something, is out there and needs help, we owe it to them to try. Or it could be a trap that gets us all killed, Zane muttered. Liam ignored the remark and addressed the entire crew. Prepare the ship. We're heading into the nebula. The crew exchanged uneasy glances but followed the order. Zane grumbled under his breath as he left the control room, while Mira stayed glued to her console, working to maintain the fragile connection with the signal. Only Dr. Maya Solis, the ship's scientist, lingered near Liam. "You felt it too, didn't you?" she asked quietly. Liam glanced at her, his expression unreadable. "Felt what?" "The connection," she said, folding her arms. "You looked at her like you knew her." Liam didn't respond. Instead, he turned back to the holographic map. Deep down, he knew Maya was right. There was something about the woman in the transmission, something that tugged at his memories like a long-forgotten dream. As the stellar Voyager entered the nebula, the crew braced themselves for what lay ahead. The signal grew fainter, but it didn't disappear. Instead, it seemed to guide them, pulling them deeper into the unknown. The ship's lights flickered, and the engines groaned against the nebula's mysterious forces. In the control room, Mira's console beeped with new data. "Captain," she called out, her voice trembling. "The signal just sent coordinates. It's leading us somewhere." Liam leaned over her shoulder, studying the screen. The coordinates pointed to a massive object, barely visible through the nebula's haze. It was no planet, no star. It was something entirely alien. "Looks like we've got our destination," Liam said, his voice steady despite the tension crackling through the air. Outside, the nebula's swirling colors grew darker, more menacing. Inside, the crew prepared for whatever awaited them. But none of them could shake the feeling that this was only the beginning, and that the woman in the transmission had far more to reveal than they could ever imagine. Journey into the abyss. The stellar Voyager pushed deeper into the nebula, its hull groaning under the strain of gravitational distortions. The crew worked silently, their unease growing with every passing second. The vast emptiness outside the ship's viewports seemed alive, shifting with swirling clouds of vibrant gas and flickers of energy that danced like ghostly lightning. Captain Liam Parker stood at the helm, his gaze fixed on the glowing coordinates blinking on the main console. Each flash seemed to whisper to him, beckoning him forward. But the further they ventured, the more alien the nebula became. "Engines are running hot, Captain," called Kara, the ship's chief engineer, her voice crackling through the intercom. "This place is like quicksand for our systems. We're burning fuel faster than expected." "Noted," Liam replied, gripping the edge of the console. "Do what you can to stabilize it. We're not turning back." Behind him, Zane paced, his unease growing with every step. "Captain, this is madness. The deeper we go, the less chance we have of making it out. For all we know, these coordinates lead to nothing, or worse." Liam didn't reply. His focus remained on the faint signal, now pulsing like a heartbeat through the ship's systems. But the tension shattered when the ship suddenly jolted. The lights flickered, and a low, otherworldly hum filled the air. "What was that?" Liam demanded. Mira's fingers flew over her console. "Gravitational anomaly, Captain. Something's pulling us. Hard." On screen, a swirling vortex of light and shadow appeared ahead, its edges shimmering like liquid metal. The ship's sensors screamed with warnings as the vortex yawned open, revealing a glimpse of what lay beyond. A massive structure, jagged and alien, floating in the heart of the nebula. The crew stared in awe and terror. "That's no natural formation," Dr. Maya Solis whispered, her voice tinged with both fear and fascination. "It's constructed, artificial." Zane stepped forward, his hand instinctively resting on his blaster. Whatever built that, they didn't mean for anyone to find it. The ship trembled again as the gravitational pull of the vortex intensified. Kara's voice came through the intercom, sharp and urgent. "We're not going to hold much longer, Captain. If we don't adjust course, we're going to." "Full power to the engines," Liam shouted. "Hold us steady." The stellar Voyager groaned under the strain, its engines roaring as they fought against the vortex's pull. But it was no use. The ship was dragged inexorably forward, plunging through the shimmering threshold. The moment they crossed, the turbulence ceased. The silence was deafening. "Status report," Liam ordered, his voice steady but tense. Mira's hands trembled as she checked her readings. "We're stable. But Captain, this place, it's not on any map. The sensors are struggling to process the environment." The view outside the ship's windows was unlike anything they had ever seen. The structure loomed ahead, its surface a chaotic blend of jagged spires and glowing crystalline veins that pulsed with an unnatural light. Surrounding it were fragments of debris, pieces of ships, shattered satellites, and ancient technology, all drifting in a slow, mournful dance. "It's a graveyard," Maya said softly, her eyes wide. "Whatever this is, it's killed before." A sudden alert blared through the ship, making everyone jump. Mira frantically checked her console. "Incoming transmission, Captain." "It's the same signal, but stronger." Before Liam could respond, the ship's lights dimmed, and the transmission took over every screen. The alien woman appeared again, her glowing eyes more vivid than before. But this time, she wasn't alone. Behind her stood towering, shadowy figures, their forms obscured by shifting static. They loomed like guardians, their presence both menacing and sorrowful. "You are here," the woman said, her voice clear and resonant. "But you are not ready." The screens flickered, and the woman's face twisted, her serene expression replaced with one of pain. "They are watching. They will stop you." "Who's watching?" Liam demanded, stepping forward. "What do you want from us?" The woman didn't answer. Instead, the shadowy figures began to move, their shapes growing sharper and more defined. The ship's alarms blared again. "Captain," Zane shouted, pointing to the viewport. Outside, the debris field was shifting, moving toward them. The fragments of broken ships and alien technology were coming to life, assembling into a swarm of jagged mechanical constructs. Their movements were erratic, almost insect-like, as they converged on the stellar Voyager. "Battle stations," Liam commanded. The crew scrambled as the ship's weapons powered up, targeting the approaching swarm. "Captain, these things are fast," Mira warned. "And there's too many of them." The constructs slammed into the ship's shields, their impact rattling the entire vessel. Sparks flew as systems overloaded, and the crew fought to keep the ship from being overwhelmed. In the chaos, Liam's mind raced. The signal had brought them here, but why? What were they supposed to do? His thoughts returned to the alien woman's haunting words. "They will stop you." Was this the test? Or was it the trap Zane had feared all along? As the constructs swarmed closer, tearing at the ship's defenses, Liam made a desperate decision. "Mira," he shouted over the chaos, "lock onto the signal source. We're not leaving until we find out what this is." The crew's protests were drowned out by the sounds of battle, but Liam held firm. Whatever lay at the heart of this alien structure, it was the key to everything. And he wasn't about to leave without answers. The stellar Voyager plunged deeper into the abyss, the alien constructs hot on their trail, as the mystery of the signal grew darker with every passing moment. The artifact and the warning. The stellar Voyager twisted and dodged through the debris field, its shields barely holding against the relentless assault of the alien constructs. Each hit sent a shudder through the ship, and the tension in the control room was palpable. The glowing structure loomed ever closer, its alien spires humming with a strange energy that seemed almost alive. "Shields at 20%. Mira called out, panic edging her voice. "We can't take much more of this." Captain Liam Parker's jaw tightened. "Kara, reroute all non-essential power to shields. Zane, get those weapons firing on full auto. We're not going down here." The ship's cannons roared to life, blasting through the swarm of constructs, but for every one destroyed, two more seemed to emerge from the debris field. It was a fight they couldn't win. Not like this. "Captain, the signal," Mira shouted suddenly. "It's changing." On the main display, the transmission blinked and shifted. The alien woman reappeared, her glowing eyes filled with urgency. "Bring it home," she said, her voice reverberating through the ship, "before they consume you." "Bring what home?" Liam demanded, but the woman didn't respond. Instead, the transmission cut out, replaced by a single, pulsing beacon on the ship's navigation system, deep within the alien structure. "She's leading us inside," Maya said, her voice tinged with awe and dread. "She wants us to find something." "And get killed doing it," Zane muttered, gripping the edge of his console as the ship rocked from another hit. Liam's decision was instant. "We're going in. Zane, cover our retreat. Mira, plot a course through that opening. Kara, prepare the ship for emergency docking." The crew stared at him, stunned. "Captain, we don't even know what's inside that thing," Zane protested. "We know one thing," Liam shot back. "Out here, we're dead. In there, we might find answers, or a way to survive." With no other options, the stellar Voyager plunged toward the structure. As they neared, a massive gate slid open in its surface, as if sensing their arrival. The constructs broke off their attack, hovering like silent sentinels just outside the entrance. "That's not ominous at all," Zane muttered, his grip tightening on his blaster. The ship slipped through the gate, and the crew braced themselves for whatever lay inside. As the stellar Voyager entered, the interior lit up, revealing a cavernous space filled with alien machinery and glowing conduits that snaked along the walls like veins. The hum of energy was deafening, vibrating through the ship's hull. "Docking complete," Kara announced, her voice strained. "But the ship's systems are barely holding together. We're on borrowed time." Liam rose from his chair, his gaze fixed on the pulsing beacon on the navigation display. "Suit up. We're going in." Inside the structure, the boarding team, Liam, Zane, Maya, and 2 security officers, stepped into the structure's eerie interior. The air was thick and charged, like a storm waiting to break. Strange symbols glowed faintly along the walls, shifting and reconfiguring as they moved. "This place, it's alive," Maya whispered, running her hand along the wall. "It's not just a structure, it's a machine." "A machine for what?" Zane asked, scanning the area with his rifle. Before anyone could respond, the beacon blinked again, brighter this time, leading them down a narrow corridor that seemed to stretch endlessly into the darkness. The walls pulsed in rhythm with their footsteps, and the further they went, the more the air seemed to hum with an unnatural energy. At last, they entered a vast chamber, its ceiling towering high above them. In the center of the room floated a massive crystalline artifact, its surface etched with intricate patterns that shifted and glowed like liquid fire. "That's it," Liam said, his voice barely above a whisper. He felt a strange pull toward the artifact, like a thread connecting him to it. "That's what she wants us to find." As he stepped closer, the alien woman's voice echoed through the chamber, not from their comms, but from the very walls around them. "You've carried it for so long," she said. "Now it must awaken." "What is she talking about?" Zane asked, his eyes darting around the room. Liam reached out to touch the artifact, but Maya grabbed his arm. "Wait. We don't know what this thing is, or what it will do." "I don't think I have a choice," Liam said, pulling free from her grip. "If this is why we're here, we need to find out." The moment his hand touched the artifact, a surge of energy shot through the room. Liam's vision went white, and he was no longer in the chamber. The vision. Liam found himself standing on a vast alien battlefield. The sky was ablaze with fire and towering constructs, similar to the ones that had attacked their ship, waged war against humanoid figures armed with glowing weapons. Among them was the alien woman, her movements graceful and deadly as she fought to protect something. "You were there," her voice said, echoing in his mind. "You were one of us." He turned, and there he was, a younger version of himself, standing alongside her. But his face was different, his features blending human and alien. Memories flooded back, of battles fought, alliances forged, and a betrayal that had shattered everything. "This isn't real," Liam whispered. "It can't be." "It is," the woman said, appearing before him. "You were part of the experiment. You were the bridge. And now, you are the last." Before he could ask what she meant, the vision faded, and he was back in the chamber. The artifact now pulsed with a deep, steady rhythm, as if it had awakened. The warning. Liam staggered back, clutching his head. "It's a key," he said, his voice hoarse. "A key to something ancient, something powerful." The walls around them began to shift, the symbols glowing brighter. The alien woman's voice returned, but this time it was filled with urgency. "They are coming," she said. "The key has been activated. You must leave. Now." The chamber trembled violently, and distant roars echoed through the corridors. The constructs outside had reanimated, their screeches piercing the air as they swarmed toward the structure. "We're out of time," Zane shouted, pulling Liam to his feet. "Whatever you did, you just woke the whole damned hive." As the team ran back toward the ship, the artifact's energy surged, lighting up the structure like a beacon in the dark. But Liam couldn't shake the woman's final words. "The bridge has been restored. Humanity's fate is now tied to theirs." And deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. The betrayal of time. The team sprinted back toward the stellar Voyager, the alien structure shuddering around them, as if it were alive and angry. The glowing conduits along the walls pulsed faster, bathing the corridors in a flickering red light. The screeches of the reactivated constructs echoed closer with every step. "Keep moving," Zane barked, his rifle raised, ready to fire at the first sign of pursuit. Behind them, the crystalline artifact's glow intensified, sending out shockwaves that rattled the entire structure. Liam glanced over his shoulder, his heart pounding. The artifact had done something, awakened something, but he still didn't fully understand what. All he knew was that it wasn't over. The escape. The team burst into the docking bay, where Kara and Mira were frantically working to stabilize the ship. "What the hell did you do in there?" Kara shouted, her face pale. "The whole place is coming apart." "We'll explain later," Maya said, helping Liam onto the ship. "Right now, we need to get out of here." Zane was the last to board, firing a few warning shots down the corridor before sealing the hatch. "Those constructs are right behind us. Whatever that artifact was, it made them very angry." The stellar Voyager roared to life, its engines sputtering under the strain of the alien structure's gravitational field. The docking clamps disengaged, and the ship lurched forward, narrowly avoiding the collapsing ceiling as it exited the chamber. Outside, the constructs swarmed like a storm of metal and energy, converging on the ship. "Shields up," Liam ordered. "Mira, plot a course out of the nebula. Fast." Mira's hands flew over the controls. "I'm trying, Captain, but the nebula's distortions are worse than before. It's like it's alive." As the ship weaved through the debris field, Kara's voice came over the intercom. "Engines are at their limit. We're not going to make it unless we lighten the load." Liam stared at the screen, his mind racing. "Jettison the secondary cargo hold. Everything non-essential." "Captain, that's our reserve fuel supply," Kara protested. "If we don't make it out of here, fuel won't matter." Liam snapped. With a heavy groan, the secondary hold detached, exploding in a flash of light as it collided with the incoming constructs. The blast bought them a few precious seconds. The revelation. As the ship broke free of the immediate swarm, Liam slumped into his chair, his head pounding with echoes of the alien woman's words. "The bridge has been restored. Humanity's fate is now tied to theirs." Maya approached him, her face pale but determined. "Captain, we need to talk. Whatever that artifact did, it did something to you." Liam nodded. "I know. I saw. Memories. They weren't mine, but they felt real. Battles. Betrayals. I was. He stopped, struggling to find the words. I was part of something. Something connected to them. Them? Maya asked, her brow furrowing. The woman, Liam said. Karen. She called me the bridge. She said humanity's fate is tied to theirs. Before Maya could respond, Mira interrupted. Captain, we've got a problem. What now? Liam asked, turning to face her. The artifact. Mira said, her voice trembling. It's still transmitting, but not to us. Liam's eyes widened. To who? Mira hesitated, then brought up the data on the screen. The transmission is going out across multiple frequencies, all aimed at one location, deep space. It's a beacon. The crew fell silent as the realization sank in. It wasn't just a key, Maya whispered. It was a signal. We didn't just activate the artifact. We called something here. The enemy revealed. The ship's sensors flared with warnings. Mira's console lit up with red alerts. Captain, she said, her voice tight with fear. We've got incoming. A massive energy signature, closing fast. On the main display, the nebula rippled, and a shadow emerged. A massive alien ship, its design completely unlike the constructs or the structure they had just escaped. Its surface shimmered like liquid darkness, and its edges bristled with weapons. That's not a rescue, Zane muttered, his hand resting on his rifle. That's a warship. The alien vessel loomed closer, dwarfing the stellar Voyager. A deep, resonant hum filled the air, and the ship's lights flickered as the alien vessel's energy field enveloped them. Shields are down, Kara shouted. We're sitting ducks. Before anyone could react, the alien ship transmitted a message. The language was incomprehensible, but the tone was unmistakable. A warning. It's a demand, Maya said, analyzing the waveform. They're telling us to surrender. Liam clenched his fists. Not an option. The alien ship powered up its weapons, glowing ports lining its hull like angry eyes. They're charging to fire, Mira shouted. Evasive maneuvers. Liam barked. Kara, reroute all power to engines. The stellar Voyager dove and weaved, narrowly avoiding the first blast. The energy beam tore through the nebula, sending shockwaves that rocked the ship. They're too fast, Zane shouted. We won't last another pass. Liam's mind raced. The artifact's activation had called these beings, but why? Were they protectors of the alien civilization, or its executioners? And why did they see the crew as enemies? Then it hit him. The artifact wasn't just a key or a beacon. It was a test. We're not here to fight, Liam said, his voice steady. We're here to prove we're worthy. Mira turned to him, confused. What does that even mean? It means, Liam said, that this isn't about survival. It's about trust. The gamble. Liam stood, his decision made. Mira, open a channel to the alien ship. Full spectrum. Captain, are you insane? Zane snapped. They'll kill us. They'll kill us anyway if we don't try, Liam countered. Do it. Mira hesitated, then nodded. Channel open. Liam stepped forward, his voice firm but calm. This is Captain Liam Parker of the Stellar Voyager. We found the artifact. We activated it. If that makes us your enemies, then so be it. But if you're here for the same reason we are, to protect what's left of them, then we're on the same side. The alien ship paused, its weapons still glowing but not firing. The hum of its energy field changed, shifting to a lower, almost contemplative tone. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the alien woman's voice echoed through the ship once more. You've chosen well, she said, but the test has just begun. The alien warship powered down its weapons and turned away, disappearing into the nebula. But before it vanished completely, a new set of coordinates appeared on the Stellar Voyager's navigation system. Where do they lead? Zane asked, his voice cautious. To the next step, Liam said, his eyes fixed on the screen. Whatever that is. The crew exchanged uneasy glances as the stellar Voyager set course for the unknown, knowing their journey was far from over, and that the real test was only just beginning. The forgotten planet. The stellar Voyager hurtled through space, following the new set of coordinates left by the alien warship. The atmosphere aboard the ship was tense. The crew's minds buzzed with unanswered questions. Who were these aliens? What had the artifact awakened? And most importantly, what did it mean to be the bridge? Liam Parker sat silently in the captain's chair, staring at the swirling void ahead. His grip on the armrests tightened. Every decision so far had pushed them deeper into danger, but he couldn't ignore the pull of the coordinates, or the whispers of the alien woman in his mind. Maya approached him cautiously. "Captain, I've been running analyses on the artifact's transmission and the memory flashes you described. There's a pattern, but it's incomplete." "What kind of pattern?" Liam asked, his voice low. "It's like a map," Maya explained, her voice tinged with excitement. The memories weren't just random. They were encoded with locations, events, and these new coordinates. They lead to one of them. Liam frowned. A memory encoded with coordinates. Why? Maya hesitated. "I think the artifact wasn't just a key. It was a repository of knowledge, a record of a civilization long gone. And now we're chasing ghosts," Zane muttered from his station. Perfect. Arrival at the forgotten planet. The coordinates led them to the edge of a star system shrouded in darkness. A dying sun cast weak light over a single barren planet. Its surface was covered in jagged ridges and vast craters, as if it had endured centuries of war and decay. Mira's voice broke the silence. "Captain, I'm picking up strange energy readings from the planet's surface. It's faint, but it matches the artifact's signature." Liam stood. "Prepare for landing. We're going down." The stellar Voyager descended into the planet's thin atmosphere, its engines groaning as turbulence buffeted the ship. The surface came into view, a wasteland of shattered structures and glowing fissures that pulsed with an eerie rhythmic light. The ship touched down on a flat expanse near what appeared to be a massive ruin, a towering monolith that jutted into the sky like a broken sword. "This place gives me the creeps," Zane said, strapping on his gear. "I've seen abandoned battlefields that felt less hostile." "It's not hostility," Maya said, studying her scanner. "It's grief. This planet, it's dying." Exploring the ruins, Liam, Zane, Maya, and 2 security officers stepped onto the planet's surface, the air thin but breathable. The ground beneath their boots felt unstable, as if it might collapse at any moment. The monolith loomed ahead, its surface etched with intricate carvings that glowed faintly. As they approached, the artifact in Liam's pack began to hum, vibrating gently. "It's responding to the structure," Maya said, her voice tinged with awe. "The artifact and this place are connected." The team entered the monolith through a jagged opening, their flashlights cutting through the gloom. Inside, the walls were covered in more glowing carvings, depicting scenes of an ancient civilization, thriving cities, advanced technology, and towering figures that bore a striking resemblance to the alien woman, Karen. "This must be her people," Liam said, running his hand along the wall. "The ones we're supposed to save." But the carvings took a darker turn. The thriving cities were replaced with scenes of destruction. Massive warships, blazing skies, and countless figures falling beneath the shadow of an immense, serpentine shape. "What the hell is that?" Zane asked, pointing to the shadowy figure. Maya's eyes widened. "It's consuming them. Their cities, their people, it's swallowing everything." The carvings ended abruptly at a massive doorway, its surface smooth and featureless. The artifact in Liam's pack glowed brighter, and the door began to rumble. "Step back," Liam warned. The team raised their weapons as the door slid open, revealing a chamber bathed in an otherworldly light. The Chamber of Echoes. At the center of the chamber stood a crystalline console, similar in design to the artifact, but much larger. The walls flickered with holographic projections of alien figures, their faces twisted in fear and desperation. Liam approached the console, the artifact in his hand glowing like a beacon. The projections shifted, and Karen's image appeared, her expression solemn. "You've come far," she said, her voice echoing through the chamber. "But the bridge is still incomplete." "What is the bridge?" Liam asked. "Why me? What are you asking of us?" Karen's image flickered, and the chamber's walls erupted with scenes of devastation. The serpentine figure from the carvings appeared, its body writhing across planets, consuming everything in its path. But this time, the projection showed something new, a massive fleet of alien ships rising to fight it. Among them were vessels that looked eerily human. "This was our enemy," Karen said, her voice heavy with sorrow. "A force beyond comprehension. We called it the Vorath. It devoured our worlds, our people. In desperation, we sought allies, other civilizations willing to stand with us. But betrayal shattered our alliance, and the Vorath consumed us." She turned to Liam, her gaze piercing. "You are the result of that alliance, a bridge between species created to unite us. But the experiment failed. Your people abandoned us, leaving us to die." Liam's chest tightened. "That's not possible. Humanity doesn't even know you exist." "Not anymore," Karen said. "But your leaders did. They chose to forget. And now, the Vorath stirs once more. A dangerous choice." The console flared to life, projecting a map of the galaxy. Red zones spread outward from a central point, consuming star systems like a slow-moving plague. "This is what's coming," Karen said. "The Vorath will not stop until everything is consumed. The artifact contains the knowledge to fight it, but only if the bridge is restored." "And if we fail?" Maya asked, her voice trembling. Karen's image faded, leaving only the map. "Then everything, your species, your galaxy, will share our fate." The chamber began to tremble, the glowing fissures in the planet's surface intensifying. Zane grabbed Liam's arm. "Captain, we need to go. This place is coming apart." Liam turned to the console, his mind racing. The artifact glowed brighter, its energy pulsing in sync with the planet's tremors. He realized the truth. The artifact wasn't just a key. It was a weapon. But activating it came with a cost. "If I activate it," Liam said, "it might stop the Vorath. But this planet, it'll be destroyed." "It's already dying," Zane shouted. "We don't have time for this." Maya placed a hand on Liam's shoulder. "Whatever you decide, we stand with you." The ground beneath them cracked, and Liam made his choice. With a deep breath, he placed the artifact into the console. The chamber filled with a blinding light as the planet began to collapse. "This is just the beginning," Karen's voice whispered one last time, as the stellar Voyager raced to escape the destruction. The crew could only watch as the forgotten planet disintegrated behind them, leaving them with the knowledge of what lay ahead, and the weight of the galaxy's survival on their shoulders. The signal of unity. The stellar Voyager soared away from the collapsing planet, its engines pushed to their limits as debris pelted the hull. The glow of the planet's destruction reflected in the ship's windows, a silent reminder of the irreversible choice Liam Parker had made. The artifact's activation had unleashed immense energy, but it had also sent out a signal, a beacon that echoed through the stars. "Engines holding steady," Kara reported, her voice strained. "But we've taken damage to the aft stabilizers. I'll need time to patch things up." "Get it done," Liam said, his voice sharp but distant. His mind was elsewhere, grappling with the alien woman's final words. "The bridge is still incomplete." "What did we just do?" Mira asked, breaking the heavy silence in the control room. "We destroyed a planet. For what?" "A signal. It wasn't just a signal, Maya said, standing by the navigation console. That beacon, it's a call to arms. The artifact wasn't just a key or a weapon. It was a rallying point. A rallying point for who? Zane asked, his tone laced with skepticism. Who's left to answer it? Maya pointed to the holographic map on the console. This signal is broadcasting to every major star system within range. If there are remnants of Karen's people or other civilizations who face the Vorath, they'll know we're here, that someone is fighting back. Liam turned to her, his expression unreadable. And if the Vorath answers the call first? The unexpected arrival. Hours passed as the ship drifted through space, the crew working in tense silence to repair the damage. The artifact, now dormant, sat in the ship's lab, its crystalline surface dim. Liam paced the bridge, unable to shake the weight of the decision he had made. Then Mira's console lit up with an alert. Captain, we're picking up a response to the signal. The crew snapped to attention. What kind of response? Liam asked, stepping toward her. It's not Vorath, Mira said, her voice uncertain. It's a fleet, multiple ships, all converging on our location. Zane straightened, his hand hovering over his sidearm. Friendly or hostile? Mira studied the readings. I don't know. Their energy signatures are varied. These ships aren't from one civilization. They are from many. On the main display, the ships began to emerge from hyperspace. They were of wildly different designs, some sleek and advanced, others patched together from scavenged parts. Their hulls bore scars of battles long fought, but they all carried a single common feature, the same glowing symbol etched into their surfaces, the symbol from the artifact. Looks like they got the message, Zane muttered. The Alliance of the Lost. The fleet surrounded the stellar Voyager, their engines pulsing with anticipation. A transmission crackled through the speakers, and a voice filled the room. Gruff, deep, and alien. Stellar Voyager, this is Commander Thras of the Coalition of the Lost. You activated the beacon. Identify yourself. Liam stepped forward, his heart pounding. This is Captain Liam Parker. We found the artifact. We answered its call. The transmission was silent for a moment before Thras's voice returned, laced with suspicion. A human. The last time your kind interfered, our worlds burned. Maya interjected, her tone measured. We're not here to repeat the mistakes of the past. We're here because the Vorath is waking up, and we can't face it alone. The line was silent again. Then another voice broke in, this one soft, melodic, and clearly from a different species. If what you say is true, then you have my attention. The Vorath destroyed my homeworld. I will not let it take another. One by one, voices joined the transmission. Captains, commanders, and survivors from across the galaxy pledged their allegiance to the cause. Liam listened, a mix of hope and dread churning in his chest. This isn't an alliance, Zane muttered, arms crossed. It's a ragtag group of desperate survivors. It's a start, Maya said. And sometimes, that's enough. A divided fleet. As the fleet gathered around the stellar Voyager, tensions began to rise. Old rivalries flared between factions, their leaders arguing over strategy and leadership. Some distrusted humanity entirely, while others questioned the artifact's reliability. Thras called a council aboard his flagship, and Liam was invited, reluctantly, to attend. Accompanied by Maya and Zane, he boarded the alien vessel, its towering halls humming with unfamiliar energy. The council chamber was filled with representatives of the various factions, hulking reptilian warriors, ethereal beings of light, and ragged humanoids with eyes that burned with determination. The arguments began the moment Liam entered. Why should we follow a human? A towering alien with chitinous armor growled. They abandoned us before. The Vorath doesn't care who leads, a wiry, insectoid being countered. It will consume us all if we don't stand together. Liam raised his hand, silencing the room. I didn't come here to lead, he said, his voice firm. I came here to fight. Karen's message wasn't for me. It was for all of us. The artifact brought us together for a reason. If we don't set aside our differences, we're already dead." The chamber fell silent, the weight of his words sinking in. Slowly, nods of agreement spread through the room. The Vorath responds. As the council began to outline a strategy, alarms blared throughout the flagship. Fras's voice boomed over the comms. "We've got incoming. Vorath forces, multiple ships. They found us." Panic rippled through the fleet as the Vorath's warships emerged from the void. They were massive, serpentine vessels, their surfaces alive with shifting patterns of darkness. Smaller, insect-like drones swarmed ahead of them, their shrieks cutting through the comms. Liam turned to the council. "This is it. We either fight together, or we die divided." The fleet scrambled to prepare, their ships forming a loose formation around the stellar Voyager. Liam returned to his ship, his crew bracing for the battle ahead. "This isn't a battle," Zane said grimly as the Vorath ships closed in. "It's a slaughter." "It doesn't have to be," Liam replied, gripping the edge of his console. "We have something they don't." "And what's that?" Zane asked. Liam's gaze hardened. "Hope. The first stand." The fleet engaged the Vorath forces, their ships weaving through the chaos as energy beams and explosive missiles lit up the void. The battle was brutal, and the Vorath seemed endless. But for every ship that fell, another rose to take its place, driven by the desperate will of its crew. Liam guided the stellar Voyager through the fray, his crew firing at every target in range. The artifact in the lab began to glow faintly, its energy pulsing in time with the battle. "Captain," Maya called out, "the artifact. It's reacting to the Vorath." Liam's eyes narrowed. "Then it's time to use it." As the battle raged, the artifact's light grew brighter, filling the stellar Voyager with an energy unlike anything they had ever seen. Liam felt the connection again, the bridge awakening within him. This was their chance to turn the tide. With a deep breath, he activated the artifact, unleashing a burst of energy that rippled through the fleet, binding them together in a shared vision of hope and unity. For the first time, the Vorath faltered. The battle wasn't over, but for the first time, the galaxy had a fighting chance. And as Liam looked out at the united fleet, he knew this was only the beginning of their fight for survival. The awakening of the bridge. The energy unleashed by the artifact spread like wildfire through the Allied fleet. Ships of every make and model glowed with the artifact's power, their systems resonating in perfect harmony. For the first time, the scattered remnants of civilizations long devastated by the Vorath stood as one. On the stellar Voyager, Captain Liam Parker felt the full force of the artifact's connection surge through him. It wasn't just energy, it was knowledge. Memories, strategies, and emotions from the species gathered in the fleet flooded his mind. He wasn't just the captain of a single ship anymore. He was the bridge between all of them. Maya's voice trembled with awe as she monitored the readings. "Captain, the artifact. It's using you as a conduit. You're coordinating the fleet." "Then let's make it count," Liam said, his voice steady despite the chaos. The Vorath's retaliation. Outside, the Vorath forces regrouped. The serpentine warships shifted, their surfaces writhing like living shadows. From their cores erupted new waves of drones, larger, faster, and more lethal than the first. Their screeches tore through the comm channels, a chilling reminder of the Vorath's overwhelming power. "Captain," Mira shouted from her station, "they're adapting. Their drones are targeting the weaker ships in the fleet." Liam closed his eyes, focusing on the connection the artifact had forged. Through it, he saw the battle not as individual skirmishes, but as a single, living organism. He could feel the fear of the fleet, the desperation of commanders, and the grim determination of every pilot. "Tell them to tighten their formations," Liam ordered. "Pair weaker ships with stronger ones. They're not fighting alone anymore." Mira relayed the orders, and the fleet moved as one. Ships that had never worked together before synchronized their maneuvers, covering each other's vulnerabilities and striking the Vorath with newfound precision. The heart of the Vorath. As the battle raged, the artifact's light grew brighter, its energy pointing to a single, massive Vorath warship at the center of the enemy fleet. It was larger than anything they had faced so far, its body a swirling mass of black and crimson energy. Liam felt a shiver run down his spine. It wasn't just a ship, it was alive. "That's it," Liam said, pointing to the monstrous vessel on the screen. "That's their core. If we take it out, we can break their hold on this battle." "Easier said than done," Zane muttered, his fingers tightening around his weapon. "That thing's got enough firepower to vaporize us in one hit." Maya studied the artifact's readings, her face pale. The artifact's energy, it's connected to the Vorath's core. It's like they're two halves of the same system. Liam's jaw clenched. Then the artifact is the key to stopping it. But if they're connected, Maya continued, activating the artifact fully might not just destroy the core. It could destroy the artifact too. "And us with it," Zane added. Liam looked at his crew, his resolve hardening. "We've come this far. If this is the cost of giving the galaxy a chance, it's one we'll pay." The final push. The stellar Voyager led the charge toward the Vorath's core, the fleet rallying behind it. Drones swarmed to intercept them, but the Allied ships fought with renewed vigor, their pilots drawing strength from the shared connection forged by the artifact. As they approached the monstrous vessel, its form shifted, revealing massive tendrils of energy that lashed out like living weapons. Ships were torn apart in the onslaught, but the fleet pressed on, their formations tightening around the stellar Voyager to shield it from the worst of the attacks. "We're in range," Mira called out, her voice shaking. "But their defenses are off the charts. We'll never get a clean shot." Liam turned to Maya. "Can the artifact break through?" Maya hesitated. "It might, but it'll need everything we've got, and more." "Then give it everything," Liam said. "Prepare to channel the artifact through the ship's main weapons." The bridge awakens. As the crew worked to integrate the artifact's energy into the stellar Voyager systems, Liam felt the connection intensify. The memories of the alien civilizations grew sharper, their voices blending into a single, unified purpose. "You're not just a bridge," Karen's voice echoed in his mind. "You're the spark that will reignite the flame." The artifact pulsed, and Liam's vision blurred. He saw flashes of the Vorath's destruction across countless worlds, their relentless hunger, and the desperation of those who had tried to stop them. But he also saw hope, a vision of a united galaxy standing together against the darkness. The strike. The stellar Voyager's weapons glowed with the artifact's energy, their targeting systems locked onto the Vorath's core. The monstrous vessel writhed, sensing the threat, and its tendrils lashed out with renewed fury. "Kara, give me full power to the shields." Liam shouted. "We need to hold just a little longer." The ship shook violently as the tendrils struck, but the artifact's energy surged, stabilizing the Voyager long enough for Mira to fire. The beam of energy erupted from the ship, piercing through the Vorath's core. For a moment, the monstrous vessel froze, its form convulsing as cracks of light spread across its surface. Then, with a deafening roar, it imploded, sending shockwaves through the battlefield. The Vorath's remaining ships faltered, their drones falling lifeless as the core's destruction severed their connection. A new dawn. Silence fell over the battlefield as the Allied fleet regrouped. The stellar Voyager floated amidst the debris, its hull battered but intact. The artifact, now dim and lifeless, rested in the ship's lab. Liam sat in the captain's chair, his crew around him, their faces a mix of exhaustion and relief. "We did it," Maya said softly. "The Vorath is broken. For now." "But at what cost?" Zane asked, glancing at the artifact. "If they come back, we might not have another shot." Liam nodded. "Then we'll be ready. Because now, we're not alone." As the fleet's commanders hailed the stellar Voyager, pledging their support for a new alliance, Liam looked out at the stars. The Vorath had been a wake-up call, not just for humanity, but for the galaxy. The bridge had been restored, and a new fight was just beginning. But for the first time in centuries, hope burned bright in the void.